Thanks so much for joining us on Quad Cities Live. We are actually following up on some breaking news, a story that we've been covering all day today out of Rock Island. A 4-year-old girl who police say was abducted during a car theft. We have an update on that.
Yeah, we have late breaking information. We want to head over to the news studio where TV6's Marsha Lenz is standing by with the latest details.
News, 4-year-old Blessing Aochi has been found. Now, this has been a whole day of a flurry of activity, and that's because early this morning, she was sitting inside her car seat in her mom's vehicle, which was running, while her mom went in, according to police, to grab the other children. During that time, the car was stolen. Now, just 7 minutes later, that vehicle was found abandoned, and Blessing was not inside. Now, police and multiple agencies from around the area, and including Illinois State Police and the FBI, have been searching for this little girl. And they all along thought that perhaps she just left the vehicle and went to a home, or maybe was afraid and was hiding somewhere. Again, because she's only 4 years old, you can imagine how difficult it would be to try to decide what to do in that situation. It led us to many different scenes because police have been searching and following tips and leads throughout the day. We do have Matt Christensen, who has been following this for part of the day, and he will bring us an update as soon as we can get a live report from him. So stay tuned to TV6. But the good news is that 4-year-old Blessing Aochi of Rock Island has now been found safe. Back to you two.
All right, good information there, Marsha. Thank you, and a good update. So we'll look forward to more information throughout the afternoon and evening as, of course, it unfolds. For now, though, thank you so much for joining us for Quad Cities Live. We have a lot more good stuff to bring you this hour. Of course, it is 2025, and the Figge Art Museum has something to celebrate.
Yeah, it's a big year because this year marks Figge's centennial anniversary, and joining us now is Figge Executive Director Melissa Moore. Melissa, thanks for coming in today on what is the start of a very busy time for you to celebrate this 100 years of Figge in the Quad Cities, and you got a lot planned this year.
We sure do. Thank you. It's always a pleasure seeing you. 100 years. I think that that's something that we haven't talked about heading into 2025.
Right.
The building was built in 2005, and so when we think about the Figge, many people automatically think 20 years, which we're also celebrating, but we're excited. You know, 100 years of building this remarkable history with the community and the Figge, celebrating bringing art and people together. We're very excited to be honoring that and then dreaming big for the next 100 years.
Yeah, it's an exciting time for the Figge, and yes, it certainly snuck up on me when I saw you were coming on to talk about this today. I couldn't believe it. And you know, it's even more exciting when you go over a little bit of the history. So taking us back, Melissa, 100 years ago, and having that vision to think of what art would mean to this community that many years ago.
No, it's remarkable. So Charles August Ficke, not Figge, but Ficke, is actually the former mayor of Davenport. He did much throughout our community. He had the vision to donate over 300 pieces to the city of Davenport. They actually created a law so that he could do that. And that's what founded this collection. Started then the Davenport Municipal Art Gallery. Over the decades, it changed to the Davenport Museum of Art, moved locations, and then Figge Art Museum. The city of Davenport has transferred the care of that collection to us, and we're honored to continue to protect and preserve.
Amazing.
Yeah, you know, it started off as more than 300 works of art. Talk about the growth that you've seen in the works of art and how your collections have grown over the years.
So many of the original paintings are what we would consider to be more traditional, and you'll see a number of them in the galleries. We're going to be highlighting a special exhibition with many of them later in the year, so stay tuned for that. But over the past few decades especially, we've been focusing on making sure we're striving toward equity in the gallery, so that we're representing artists from across time and place that show diverse perspectives. And this is especially true with some of our contemporary acquisitions expositions. Last year, we were able to acquire over 300 pieces of art in that year alone. Much of that thanks to the generosity of our community members.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we're going to talk a little bit about the celebrations. So how is the Figge going to be celebrating 100 years throughout this year, 2025?
So I would say everything as always centers on community and collaboration. And so many of the artists with whom we're collaborating are going to be hosting exhibitions that are unlike anything you've seen before. But at the center of our celebration is one very special collaboration. Internationally renowned sculptor, light sculptor Leo Villarreal is going to be presenting Evanescent Field, which is going to basically light the building.
Wow.
So
this is going to be really cool.
yeah, it's unbelievable.
I'm
so
excited.
we're looking forward to collaborating with Leo and really flipping that switch and turning this on and changing the landscape.
Yeah, there's a rendering of it right there on your screen.
Yeah, it's remarkable. We feel so fortunate to be partnering with him on this, and so many people in our community and people who have lived here understand the importance of this, but have moved beyond our community, still have come back to make sure they can be part of this project. So definitely look forward to us flipping the switch on this remarkable work in May.
Okay.
Some other collaborations, the National Gallery of Art in DC is going to be sharing some loaned works with us. So we are excited to share that with our public. These are works you otherwise wouldn't be able to see unless you were going, outside of our community to Chicago, New York, or of course DC.
What we would consider to be larger metropolitan areas, and we're going to have that right here.
Yep, and it's going to be a long-term loan, so you'll have plenty of time to see that. I mentioned an exhibition where we're featuring works from the collection. It's not just from that initial gift by Charles Figge, it's also from those who have donated artworks in big ways over the past century. So it's 100 years of collecting. We'll be working on an exhibition with Cara and Diego Romero, outstanding artists who have shown independently, but this will be the first nationally traveling exhibition that they're doing together, and the Figge has organized that. The John Deere has an outstanding art collection. I don't know that many people know about that. I'm excited that you do, but we have some of that on view. We've really deepened the partnership with John Deere so that more people in the community can have access to that, which of course is very important to them as well.
It absolutely is. So yeah, we've got just a list of really cool things and exhibitions to come, many of them that you've mentioned. Now the light sculpture, that's an exhibition, is that underway right now? Not of course the unveiling of the lighting of the Figge, but people can actually see work by this artist.
Correct, and so that exhibition, Interstellar, has in-gallery pieces that demonstrate the type of work that he's going to be doing for the larger building, and that's on view until February 23rd. We've got to extend it a little bit.
Okay, I was wondering. I'm like, I'm going to bring this up, and I hope that it's over.
No, I'm so glad you did. It has been so popular, and I think it's really helped community members understand this different type of art. I mean, we're in 2025, and I guarantee Charles Figge in 1925 did not imagine that we would be doing artwork like this.
I think you're right.
Well, maybe another one that he wouldn't imagine. Mid-year, you guys are planning for an exhibition called Future Now: Virtual Sneakers to Cutting Edge Kicks.
Yes.
Which, you know what, we giggle and we laugh, but this is an art.
It is.
For a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's legit, and it's also incredible. Like, there's a whole culture around this form of art, and it's also accessible. We all have sneakers, right?
Yes.
And for some of us, they're cherished items. And this exhibition is especially cool because it is exploring the innovation around it, the design, of course, the aesthetic, what it looks like, but also the sustainability and how we can talk about things like climate crisis and social justice using something like sneakers.
Using something like sneakers, and when you talk about, the Figge bringing art and the community together, that is certainly one way that I feel like you get a lot of people in the door with an exhibition like that may otherwise, pass on it, and I think that's a really cool way to get them to see that, but then everything else that you have to offer.
Yeah, that's what we're going for, so thank you. I hope that everybody's able to come down and see this. The sneaker show in particular will be up over the summer, and don't forget we always go free in July, thanks to generous support from Cal and Jill Werner. So that's a great opportunity. If you haven't checked out the Figge and you don't know if you'll get there until the summer, July is your month.
Or even if you have checked out the Figge, you always have new
changing.
exhibitions that people need to check out. So always changing throughout the year. So if you want to stay up to date with all the exhibitions happening and all the events and activities at the Figge Art Museum to celebrate 100 years, you can visit FiggeArtMuseum.com. Melissa, thank you so much, and we're looking forward to hearing more about all the celebrations this year.
Thank you both.
Yes, thank you. Still to come on Quad Cities Live, River Action's annual QC Environmental Film Series. It starts this weekend. We're getting a preview of each of the 6 movies being shown.
You're watching watching Quad Cities Live.
The QC Environmental Film Series kicks off this weekend. It's an annual initiative to encourage grassroots activism within our community for environmental awareness and justice. Kathy Wine is with River Action, and Kristen Bergeron is the QC Environmental Series organizer. So, ladies, thank you so much for being here today.
Sure. Thank you.
Yes, we're looking forward to talking with you. Kathy, you had mentioned before the show started, this is in its 6th year now?
Yes, yes.
That's very exciting.
I know.
That is amazing. Well, tell us a little bit, Kathy, first about River Action for folks who may still be a little bit unfamiliar, and really the mission of your organization.
Well, yes, we want to engage people with the river, and there are many ways to do it with education and art, which is the films are, and so on, as well as events that are taking place on the riverfront itself. And
you like
so
to
we're
have your
busy
hand in
year
all
long.
of that. Yeah, you like to grow people's love for the river,
That's
but
right.
also encourage them to protect
That's
it.
right. No one becomes a steward if they don't know the river, so you need to engage them enough to know the river and then want to be a steward of it.
Absolutely. Okay, so Kristen, talk a little bit about the film series itself and just kind of how it got started, how it got its legs 6 years ago.
Well, 6 years ago, Tony and Joyce Singh asked some of us to come from different organizations to come together because they felt that films were a powerful way to tell stories and to get the word out. So that's how we started, and 2020 was our first year.
Well, it's nice to see that it's continuing. So give us a general overview of what people can expect. The film series, it doesn't all happen in one day. It takes place over several weeks, actually.
Right. Well, and we have, I think, a very good affordable ticket price, and you can go to riveraction.org film series and buy tickets. $7 for a single ticket.
Yeah.
Season passes are $30. That's 6 films for $30, and all students are free, because that's another one of our missions, is to get the youth involved.
Yeah, absolutely. That is,
yes.
they make it, you make it nice and easy for people to participate in this. So tell us a little bit about how proceeds from the film series can continue to benefit River Action.
Yes, and they don't necessarily just go to River Action. We want to continue to improve the series itself, and
good.
A lot of our funds just go right into that.
Okay, wonderful. And you also partner with school environmental clubs as well. So how are they incorporated in this?
Right. So 3 years ago, we started partnering with environmental clubs from Augustana, St. Ambrose, North High School, and Black Hawk College. And so part of our funds, too, with their co-hosting jobs that they have, which is publicizing on campus. They create some type of display that goes with the movie. We also then we give a donation to them for their environmental club so that they can further their mission.
That's wonderful. Well, the first film in the series is set for this Sunday. It is Food Inc. 2. So first of all, which display goes along with that one?
Here.
This one, this first one here right in front of me. And this was created by students?
A retired teacher, me.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
I know.
It was very fun.
Don't you think so?
Well, tell us.
Lucky students that we had her for a teacher.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about why this film was chosen.
Okay, so, well, Food Inc. 2 is about, explores how we get our food and where we get our food, and there's serious issues with it, but it also, the positive things have happened, because there was a Food Inc. 1, and so that was a long time ago, so there's been many changes
A catalyst
since
for
then,
change
too. Right.
in creating that film.
Right, so since then, there's better practices in farming, like regenerative farming, more farmers markets. You can get organic food in your grocery store, which didn't happen a long time ago. And then in the movie is also Zach Smith, who's an Iowa farmer, and he's going to be our reflection speaker after the movie.
Wonderful.
And he invented the stock cropper, which is what you see here.
Okay.
Without the solar panels. And the stock cropper is an autonomous animal pen that travels in between the rows of crops, so the animals feed on the plants, and then the animals feed on the plants, and then that increases how it enriches the soil.
Amazing.
So yeah, so we're very excited to have him here.
Oh yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. We want to also take a quick look. We cut a little piece out of the trailer for people to check out, and I think it's going to kind of encourage them to want to see the film on Sunday.
When the pandemic hit, the curtain was peeled back. There were whole crops being buried. At the same time, there were shortages in the supermarket.
But that's not the only problem. Working in the fields, our work is essential, but we as people were treated as disposable.
How could I go to work for these billion-dollar companies and feed all these people, all to come home to hear my son's stomach growl?
All right, so that is just like 25 seconds of that entire film, which looks to be incredible. And you were just talking about something off camera, Kathy, being in an audience when we're watching these films.
I just came back from Hadestown last night.
Oh, okay. I heard that was fabulous.
It was, and the audience was so energetic, and you come back with just a whole idea. The whole idea of having a live audience is that you're there with community. You're sharing things with those, and we will come back when I'm watching a film like this with creative ideas. You'll meet the person you're sitting next to. There's so much energy involved in being in an audience, a live audience. And of course at the Figge, you have the giant screen, great sound. You walk through the beautiful, beautiful displays on your way to the auditorium.
It's a wonderful experience.
You want to be there in person.
There's going to be a renewed sense, I think, of inspiration and motivation. So it's very cool. Well, of course, there are 5 other films, and we're going to have you back, of course, over the next several weeks to talk about those. But I guess to quickly go over at least even the titles of the films, because people will get a good idea of how different they are.
Fine. Well, our next one, the second one, does deal with farming also. It's Farming While Black, which deals with the history of black farmers. And you know, in 1910 there was 14% black farmers. Now today there's only 2%.
It's dwindled. Okay.
And then we go on to Ripples of Plastic, which talks about plastic pollution in our lakes. And usually we talk about in rivers and oceans. And so that's what that one's about. And the North High School kids are doing a great job with co-hosting that one. Then we have we have a movie called The Shithropathy, and it's about over-consumerism and talking about how we're kind of a throwaway society.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're going to have a fair that helps people find out where they can go instead of buying new things.
Okay.
And then we have The Hunt for Planet B, which is so exciting. It's about the James Webb Space Telescope.
Okay, and the Putnam just had that on exhibition.
Yes.
Okay.
And also about the women scientists that were involved with that project.
Wonderful.
And then our last one is Giants Rising, and it's about about the redwoods and how what the nature brings to us, and when we feel awe when we're in their presence. So
wonderful. And most of these films, Kathy, will be shown at the Figge, as you mentioned, but that final film will be shown.
So glad you mentioned that. Yes, that's at St. Ambrose Galvin Fine Arts Center.
Okay, wonderful. So very easy for you to see one or all of these films that are part of this series. If you want to learn more about River Action, the mission, if you want to purchase your tickets to the film series, just visit the website we have right there on your screen. It is riveraction.org/film series. Very easy. Kathy and Kristen, thank you so much for being here. And of course, we will look forward to having you back as we kind of delve into some of the other films as part of this series. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, still to come on QCL, supporting the Sawmill Museum. We'll get details on the annual Food and Beverage Fest, with proceeds benefiting the mission of this important local organization.
You're watching Quad Cities Live.
Clinton, Iowa played a major role in the American lumber industry back in the 1800s, and the Sawmill Museum is keeping that history alive through regular exhibits, programming, and events throughout the year for a variety of age groups. Joining us now is Executive Director Eliza Mussman. Eliza, thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We are so excited to have you and hear all about this museum, this opportunity for folks to go and check out something new. So describe the museum for us and your overall mission and just being part of the Clinton community.
Yeah, so our mission is really to preserve and exhibit and kind of show off this important history of the American lumber, just the whole industry and everything like that. We focus a lot, of course, on Clinton's role. Not a lot of people know, just how important Clinton was during the 1800s. We were one of the 3 largest producers of lumber in the entire United States from about 1860 through the 1890s. So
that's incredible.
Yeah.
Fun fact right there.
Yeah, and it's something that not a lot of people know, so we really focus on that and kind of showcase just how important it was, how that industry worked, the way that we were able to use the river and our train line to create and become a part of that industry. And then we, of course, also have plenty of vintage machinery and stuff to show off as well.
Which
so you
is
can come
very
and see.
fun to see. Yeah, talk a little bit about some of, just a few. I know you have a variety, many exhibits there, but talk about some, you know, some of the favorites.
Yeah, so my personal favorite is, we call them, just for fun, our talking heads.
Okay.
It's a set of 4 animatronics of some of our largest lumber mill owners.
Okay.
And they come and tell a little bit about their story. You can go and watch them. We also have a water table that is very, very popular, especially with little kids.
Yes.
That shows just how they were able to bring these logs from Wisconsin down to Clinton, Iowa, because we aren't a very forested area.
Yeah, I know. I think the whole thing to me is incredible that this existed, and this is such a big part of the history. Oh, there, I believe, are the talking heads on the screen that you were talking
right there,
about.
And our water table.
Yes. So the museum, do you have memberships available? I'm sure when you talk about water tables and things like that, I mean, this is a great family spot.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a lot of members and a lot of little perks that we have for our members. We have family memberships available for $80 that gets up to 6 people in.
For the year?
For the full year.
Oh, wow.
A full year, up to 6 people. They don't actually have to be your family.
Okay.
They could be any 6 people. They could be your neighbors, your friends, anybody that you want.
Great.
But we also offer duo and individual members for people that just want to come in. Our individual members are really popular for parents of young kids because 3 and under do get in for free all year round at the museum. So if you've got a 3 and under, you can get individual membership for $25 and get in for the full year with your kid.
That's wonderful to know. Okay, so the big reason why Liza's here with us today is your annual Food and Beverage Fest. It's going to be coming up here pretty soon, next week, I believe, on Thursday. So tell us a little bit about this event, which sounds like it is incredibly popular.
Oh, yeah. So our Food and Beverage Fest, we've had for about 6 years now, where different vendors can come and they offer free samples, really generous samples.
We love it. We love to hear that.
Yeah, either things that they already have and are popular on their menus, or we've got a couple that are bringing in brand new things that they don't even have on their menus yet. It's really exciting. It's at the museum from 6 to 8 on the 23rd.
Okay.
We have it every year. It always sells out before the event, so.
Yeah, this would be a really cool opportunity, not only for people who are participating and showing up to take part in the event, but the vendors themselves. I mean, this is a great way for them to show off what they have to offer, whether it is a brewery or a restaurant or something along those lines. So really a variety of people are going to be there. I think you had written us over 20 restaurants, caterers, breweries, wineries, distilleries, so everybody's going to be there. So talk about the importance of a fundraising event like this for the museum.
Yeah, so this event is not only really fun for our community, which we like to offer, it's also a really great way for us to get funding for new exhibits, for programs that we can offer either at really low cost or free to the public, which we think is really important to make those things as accessible as possible. To be able to bring as many people into the museum to learn about this history that isn't as well known, and even just to come in and have a really fun day.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, when people come across the museum that may have never been there before or heard of it before, maybe they're not from the Clinton area or Clinton County, what is the response like from those individuals and those families who get to see it for the first time?
Yeah, a lot of people are really surprised by just how much we have to offer. A lot of people stop in just kind of on a whim while they're on their way through Clinton, and they're always really surprised and amazed by just how much we have to offer, just how many exhibits there are, and just how long you can spend without even realizing that the time has passed, because there's a lot of really interesting things to check out and do and learn at the museum.
Yeah, and the best kind of museums oftentimes are the ones where you walked in really knowing nothing at all, and then you've learned all of this. Like, you know, I feel like I learned a lot from you today. So you can still get your tickets for the Food and Beverage Fest. It's at the Sawmill Museum Thursday, January 23rd from 6 to 8 p.m. Tickets are $30 each when purchased in advance, $35 at the door, but we do not recommend waiting till you're buying them at the door, because typically they sell out ahead of time. Anyways, you can get yours online at the sawmillmuseum.org. Eliza, thanks for joining us on the show today and telling us all about the museum. We appreciate it. Still to come in our next half hour of QCL, an organization organization empowering, uplifting, and honoring women of color. We'll learn more about For Sisters Only and get details on some upcoming events. And later, Dancers Creek Barn. We're getting the details on this retail space sitting on 7 acres in Aledo, Illinois, open to customers each weekend. But first, warmer weather today, and those temperatures will be even more comfortable tomorrow. Meteorologist Kyle Keel has your full forecast next.
And now your first alert forecast with meteorologist Kyle Keel.
We just step outside and it certainly feels a lot warmer than yesterday as temperatures have managed to make it into the 30s and 40s. That's come with a little bit of cloud cover just filtering the sunshine. So we do still have some sunshine out there, but notice the wind still flapping out there. It's still a little breezy as we have those winds anywhere from 10 to 20 miles per hour. So that makes these temperatures feel just a little cooler, but nonetheless, it feels remarkably better than what it's been the last several days. It's 35 right now in Galena, 39 in Savannah, 41 in Moline and Muscatine, sitting at 46 degrees in Keokuk, and those are temperatures that most of us will get to here heading into tomorrow afternoon. So there's those northwest winds. It's still going to be breezy heading into your Friday, but these winds are going to be out of the south, and that means we are talking much warmer temperatures here as we head into the day on Friday before the bottom drops out, as we've been advertising all week long. So we're kind of losing the visible satellite here as the sun sets here pretty soon. By the way, today is our last day with a sunset prior to 5 p.m. So starting tomorrow, 5 o'clock or later is when we'll get that sunset. But we do have some lake effect snow getting caught up in the flow there in portions of Michigan and Ohio. But here at home, no snow. And that's kind of been the story all winter long. No snow around here. We're running about 13 to 14 inches below average. But tonight we'll have temperatures actually kind of on the rise here after midnight as we get an increase in cloud cover and we get those southerly winds to take over. That means we're going to have a pretty quick rise here into tomorrow. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised to see these numbers a little warmer there as we head into this time tomorrow afternoon. So let's look at ExactTrack to kind of look at the cloud trends. You'll notice ExactTrack wants to bring in all these low-level clouds, and this is kind of coming from the snow melt, especially off of the south. I think this model in particular thinks there's maybe a little more snow on the ground than there actually is. Will we see clouds? I think so. I don't think it'll be terribly widespread. Might be a few areas of patchy fog, but overall I think we will see a mix of sun and clouds here on Friday. The bigger story going to be that southerly wind ahead of that Arctic front that moves through here Friday evening. Notice it keeps any rain or snow outside of the area. In fact, it'll be warm enough for just rain from Peoria up towards Chicagoland and points off to the south and east. So we don't have to worry about any rain, but we do have to worry about those strong northwesterly winds coming in behind that Arctic front. We are tracking a string of first alert days in effect here Sunday through Tuesday for dangerously cold temperatures and wind chills. In fact, 15 to 30 below is what it's going to feel like. So this is a high impact event because frostbite can set in 30 minutes or less to any exposed skin. So we've been through this before. Just be smart out in the cold. Don't spend any prolonged periods of time outside, and keep in mind your pets as well. We'll go from 47 tomorrow to 21 here on Saturday, 5 on Sunday with overnight lows below 0. And we'll finally start a warming trend here heading into Wednesday next week with highs in the 20s.
All right, we'll look forward to that, Kyle. Thank you. Still to come, QC For Sisters Only. Learn more about this organization empowering, uplifting, and honoring women of color.
You're watching Quad Cities Live.
Make some time this weekend to attend the MLK Day Shop Small, Dream Big pop-up shop. It's the second annual event of its kind, and dozens of local vendors are taking part. Here to tell us more about the event and the organization hosting it is Regina Bassett and Michelle Dotson-Dixon, which is one of the vendors that are going to be part of this event today. So thank you both for being here.
Thank you.
Yes, we appreciate you. Now, Regina, you established the QC For Sisters Only organization back in 2023, so not too long.
Myself and Evelyn Yancey, yes.
You and Evelyn. So you founded this organization, the two of you. Describe what this organization is all about.
Honoring the women of color here in the Quad Cities. We were all raised here, born here, went to school. Our parents were friends, still friends, and just giving back to the community, to all the wonderful, beautiful women of color here in the Quad Cities.
You know, I think it's really special that you have created this and that you thought to do something like that, especially when it comes to just, you know, focusing on women of color right here in the Quad Cities region. You know, talk about some of the amazing things that you you had seen in your years, in your day-to-day life, that made you really want to create an organization that, you know, honors them?
Well, actually, I left when I was very young for the service, and been all over the world, Germany, Korea, and all that.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. You're welcome. But just knowing how to handle myself, having values and ethics, and you know, I was able to conduct myself in different arenas, different countries, meeting different people, and when I got back here, I kind of realized, how did I get so worldly, and how did I become, you know, the person that I am? And I had to think about it. It was the neighborhood. It was my mom.
Oh,
it was you know, the church. It was my friends and family, and I, you know, have had some success in my life. I've had some bad things too, but most of all been pretty successful, and I wouldn't have been able to do it without their guidance, them raising me the correct way, and I just wanted to kind of give back, and that's kind of where the idea came from.
Yeah, well, talk about some of the opportunities. You know, you've only just begun 2023. I mean, it's just, you know, newly 2025. But describe some of the opportunities that you have tried to create thus far through the organization.
Well, as like you said, we are honoring women here in the Quad Cities. We not only honor women that are doing things for the community in the healthcare arena, pastoral in the church, and then also women who have struggled, have turned their lives around, and you know, are doing good things for the community. And right now, we created helping out vendors, small businesses, and this is where we came up with the pop-up shop. And by trade, I'm a crafter too, so yeah, I like to craft too. But again, just having a space for small businesses to showcase their stuff, and so I kind of came up with the idea, let's do a pop-up shop.
Well, it's a great idea, and so it is happening this weekend, Sunday specifically, January 19th. Michelle, your business will be part of this pop-up vendor event, so tell us a little bit about what you do.
So my husband and I, we started Clovey Graphic Tees, and what we do is we specialize in customizing t-shirts and sweatshirts. And what that means is we can customize for whether it's companies looking for t-shirts, whether it's family reunions, class reunions, bachelorette parties, which are huge and popular, even bachelor parties as well.
I bet, yeah.
So anything that anybody wants customized, we can make happen. And then we have some novelty items also that we customize, which are candles and journals.
Yes, you have beautiful smelling candles, and I love your shirts. And you know, while you're on the shot right now, I'm going to hold some of these up. This one, you know, Later Gator. I don't know if you can see it because it's bright white, but you have some really cute and funny ones. Ones for grandparents you have here. Yeah, and this is something that people can come to you if they have an idea. So it's not just the ideas that you and your husband come up with.
Correct.
But people can be part of the process.
Yes. So any kind of idea that you have, we can create. And then, of course, we do create the things that are trendy.
Yeah, I love that. That's wonderful. And so you will be attending on site. And then there's going to be multiple other vendors there as well.
We have 30.
30 vendors.
Yes.
That are part of this.
And
I love that.
Where everything from sweets to swords, jewelry, health options.
That's great.
So we got a good variety.
That's very cool. Okay.
And our youngest vendor, I have to say, is 9 years old.
9. I love that. But you know what? The kids, they love to craft too, and some of them are awfully good at it. I mean, they really are. So additionally, I just want to bring this up really quick because you have another event, and it's going to be your 3rd annual brunch event.
Yes.
And you're honoring women, and this is happening in February.
Yes, February 15th at the Martin Luther King Center.
Okay.
We will be honoring 6 more Quad City women here for our 3rd year.
Wonderful.
And this year we have a band coming in doing a tribute to the Queens of Soul, such as Aretha Franklin, Chaka Khan. So yeah, we're excited.
Look at that, 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. That's all the information that you need. You can purchase your tickets and just attend this event, be inspired by this event, and just have a really good time.
Yes.
That is wonderful. Well, it is awesome to see your organization doing such wonderful things.
Thank you.
And we want to remind people with the information on your screen right there. The MLK Day Shop Small Dream Big pop-up shop is at the Holiday Inn in Rock Island. That is this Sunday, January 19th from noon to 7 p.m. Any questions, you can email the email address on your screen or call the phone number, but otherwise just show up and have a great time and support small businesses and people of color here in the Quad Cities. Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much.
Of you. Yes, thank you. Well, still to come on Quad Cities Live, Dancers Creek Barn, located on 7 acres in Aledo, Illinois. We'll get the details on a sip and shop event happening there this weekend. Coming up tomorrow on QCL, with frigid temperatures in the forecast next week, thaw out at the annual Antifreeze Outdoor Cocktail Party. We'll get the details on this event at Mississippi River Distilling in LeClaire.
And for those of you ready to embrace all things frozen, you don't want to miss out on this weekend's Ice Stravaganza. We'll check out the family-friendly winter event with beautiful ice carvings on display. That and much more tomorrow on a Friday edition of QCL. Well, this weekend, experience antiques, art, and other gifts made by local artisans and vendors at Dancers Creek Barn in Aledo, Illinois.
Very cool. Randy Franks is the owner. He is joining us now. Randy, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
yes,
absolutely. I'm really looking forward to hearing more about this space. Give us a little bit of background on the barn itself. It was not always used, of course,
No.
as a cool retail space.
Right. We bought the property in 2002. Started working earnestly on the barn around 2010 and started doing weddings and events, reunions, that type of thing in 2015.
Yeah.
So we did that until COVID. We got 2 weddings in between the lockdowns and with COVID and decided to just take a different direction with it. So, and I've collected antiques since I was in grade school. So I unfortunately had enough stuff to fill the barn up in about 3 weeks. So we had the liquor license for the weddings and we kept that. So it's kind of a unique experience because you can come and shop for antiques.
Look at that Bloody Mary.
While you're having a drink and hang out. So.
And we're seeing some of the photos of the landscape there. So describe the area, because this used to be an 80-acre dairy farm.
Yeah, it was a working dairy farm back. And there's I've been trying to research it, and what I've found is there was some kind of a dwelling on the property as far back as 1870. So I don't know when the barn was actually built. This barn was built in the 50s, but I assume that there was another barn there before this one. The house was built in 1910, and I don't think they would have waited 50 years to build a barn on a working farm.
Probably not, yeah. Wow, a lot of history there from what it seems like. Okay, so you host these sip and shop events inside the barn. Describe the retail space now as it is. We talk about antiques, which are, you said you can find those inside, as well as art and different vendor items. So what can people expect when they walk in the door?
Well, I have 13 or 14 vendors right now that bring different items. So we have a couple of artists that bring paintings, some woodcraft, a little bit of everything, and then it's primarily antiques. But there's other stuff there. I have some Rutherfords bring their jerky in. Mike and Stephanie Rutherford do the beef jerky, and I have Old Paths Farms that does jams, jellies, that type of thing. I have another lady that is a baker, and she brings in fresh baked goods every Saturday morning. So we have bread and rolls, a variety of things that she makes.
And you were talking about the antiques that are available, and you brought a few items here with you today. We want to take a look at this one first. This is an antique paperweight, and this is of the Masonry Lodge in Rock Island, better known today as the Skellington Manor.
Oh my gosh, that's right.
So this is marked June of 1922.
Right. So it was a souvenir piece.
Yeah. Look at that.
That's very cool. So this is one of your items?
Yeah, and this would be considered a genuine antique. The textbook definition of an antique is 100 years old or more.
Oh, okay.
So that's actually an antique. Everything newer than that, I mean, a lot of people call anything old antique, but
Me.
Most of that stuff,
I'm an antique.
So, well, this is from the 60s, and a lot of people would consider that an antique. But
what is this here? Cufflinks?
This is cufflinks and a tie clasp that were.
That's cool.
Yeah, I brought that because I know you have some dog lovers on the show, and
we got dogs on them. Yeah, there
you
go.
got the dogs in there.
Take a peek at it, and then what do we have here?
And then this is an old Pond's cold cream jar
Oh my gosh.
that we actually found on the property. So I have a friend that does, he looks for artifacts, arrowheads, that type of thing, and he was back in the pasture looking, and he'd come up with this
They
jar.
look different now.
And I was able to clean it up, and because Pond's is, their marketing was great back in the day, and still is, I guess.
Yeah.
But I was able, by the shape of the jar and the graphics on the lid, I was able to date it to, it's within a couple of years, it's 1904, 1905. So, so that's an antique for sure.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so these are just a few of the many items that you can find out there.
Lots of stuff. Yeah, we have, it's 2 stories, there's 3,000 square feet, so there's a lot of stuff to see.
That's great.
A little bit of everything, something for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you host these sip and shop events actually quite often, correct?
We do this every weekend, every Saturday and Sunday. So Saturdays it's 10 to 6, Sundays it's noon to 6, and we do it every weekend unless something changes. The only variation would be like Rhubarb Fest, we're open on Friday.
Sure. Sure.
During the holidays, we're open a couple extra days of the week, just so people have more time to shop.
Wonderful.
And get a drink, and we always have the drinks. They'll always try to have something special.
That's great. Well, Randy, thank you so much for joining us on the show today. It is an incredible space.
Well, thank you.
I hope to come check it out. So thank you so much, and thank you for watching today.
Your local news at 4 with the latest on the Innocent Girl Found Safe is coming up.